Hello and welcome back to the Fabric of Real Estate. I am so excited to have Dasheil with me. She is a general contractor. I saw her online and was like, whoa, we have a Black female contractor. I have to talk to her and get to know more about what she's doing. Hello, Dasheil, and welcome to the Fabric of Real Estate.
Good evening. Good evening. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and so we're going to talk today about working effectively with contractors, even if it's a realtor, or if you are looking at doing some renovation to your home, what to expect. But first off, I want to have Dasheil just tell us a little bit about what you do, because you wear many hats, so people know what you're all about.
All right. So I am a CEO of a construction firm. I actually have two office locations. I have one in Southern California as well as one in Northern California. We actually just expanded to the Louisiana area doing insurance claims. So now we have our insurance adjuster's license. So we're getting more involved into dealing directly with insurance companies. So basically with the disasters. When the hurricanes and tornadoes and things come through, things of that nature, then we're basically dealing directly with the insurance companies and the homeowner in regards to rebuilding the actual homes that have been destroyed. I also teach law and business for the Contractor State License School for California. I am a General B contractor as well as a C43 contractor. So I do withhold the license for the construction firm, as well as I do business and financial consulting services for small businesses, entrepreneurs, upcoming entrepreneurs, things of that nature, helping to build their business, process procedures, branding, marketing, business growth, as well as the building even business credit. So yes, I have a lot of different things in which I do, but basically it revolves business overall. And with that, that's about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to talk about your construction business. So recently, I have spoken just with other professionals about what to expect when working with contractors. So we know that contractors have very busy schedules, and the type of work they can do is a wide range when it comes to residential real estate. So in terms of some of my clients, they're selling their property, they're looking at doing minor renovations, and then I have buyers that are looking to build ADUs because that's becoming easier to get through the process in like the city of Oakland and in Northern California. So I wanted to just address with you, if I had a client coming to you that was looking to renovate their homes, what are some of the things that they should be thinking about before starting a renovation?
More so really getting an understanding of exactly what they're looking, the scope of work in which they're looking to have done. It really boils down to the level of communication. If a lot of times some clients know what they want, other times other clients really don't know in detail of what they want. When it comes to that, we basically communicate with the clients. So it's really a full in-depth detail of exactly what they want, us coming out to the actual site, doing an actual walkthrough, and being able to let the clients know, is this even something that's possible? Sometimes a lot of individuals, they want something, but they don't understand the scope of work and the amount of money that it costs. You know, when you're dealing with renovations, things of that nature, a lot of times there are business permits that has to be filed. Some stuff can be done and some stuff cannot be done depending on the individual's budget as well as everything else. So one of my main things is that communication portion of exactly what the client is looking for. And then from there, once we do the walkthrough, we go from there in regards to the cost.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what I've seen with a couple of my developers is they have a tendency of knowing what their particular county or city requires. Do you find that a lot of the roadblocks in getting a client what they want has to do with city and zoning, or is that something that can be easily worked around?
It really depends.
Mhm.
Each county and each city does have different level of requirements. We have not gotten, we have had very few situations to where we're not able to get permits for the things in which the client wants. Now,
Okay.
this is the thing, because I'm a very honest person. A lot of clients, they still want you to do the job, even if without a permit being filed. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Um, some contractors, they're willing to work and do that. Um, Me, for example, I just tend to not deal with that type of business, but
Mhm.
there's a lot of work that's even being done um, without even going through the permit process. Because this is the thing, what a lot of people don't understand is, as a homeowner, the homeowner can actually perform the work on his or her own property
Right.
without hiring an actual contractor, you
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
and it's legal. An actual homeowner can actually hire individuals, employees, etc., to complete the work
Right.
under their name, as long
Mhm.
as their actual name is on the actual home. So when you know the laws and things of that nature, there are ways to get around it, as long as if the client is the one over the actual project per
Right.
se. Um, so you do have those situations.
Mhm.
Um, we've never really had an issue with permits being filed in order to have renovations. The thing that comes with it, where it becomes an issue, is when your building plans and things of that nature are not up to code.
Mhm.
We hire individuals to do that.
Mhm.
So if you're working with a company that knows how to ensure that your plans and things of that nature in which you have to submit for approval, you need to make sure you're working with someone that has an actual company that they are working with, can get those building plans actually approved. We really don't do that on
Mhm.
our own. Like I said, we sub that out. So it's very rare that we ever have something that can't get approved, because
Mhm.
we literally work with the individuals that know exactly what is needed in order for it to be approved.
Right.
So
Right. I'm
if
glad you
that
made
makes
that
any
point.
sense.
Yeah, I'm glad you made that point too about the permits and being the owner of the property when doing the work, and that and it being your, I don't know if it's a difference between if it's your primary residence or your investment property if you're the project manager over the work, but I'm glad you addressed
No,
that point.
as long as you're the owner, you
Mhm.
have the right to do any expansion or renovation on your property. You
Mhm.
have to be the owner and your name has to be listed on the property. Even as an owner could go and pull permits, building permits as
Mhm.
well. The
Right.
contractor does not have to pull the permits, but you have to actually be an owner.
Mhm.
Basically, what they look at that as is what is it called? Oh my gosh, the name of it just um, left my mind. Um,
But basically the liability has to fall on them, right? It's
right, the liability would fall on them,
yeah.
um, and they also have to, if they perform the work themselves,
Mhm.
they don't have to have workers' comp. But if they choose to hire in what you would call employees, then
Mhm.
they have to have workers' comp on the individuals that perform the work.
Mhm.
But homeowners can actually, they can do that themselves without hiring an actual contractor. The thing about it is, some homeowners are knowledgeable of this and exactly what needs to be done. Other homeowners aren't quite knowledgeable. So it just makes it easier for a contractor to just take over the entire process,
Mhm.
per se. Because when it does come, like I stated, to having the actual building plans approved, a lot of homeowners don't know what that process is in regards to the information that must be provided for the actual permits to be approved.
Mhm.
So you normally see a lot of homeowners doing that when they're actually more knowledgeable in
Right.
construction per
Mhm,
se. You don't really see a lot of homeowners doing that when they're not knowledgeable in the actual construction field.
mhm. And so with residential versus commercial, what's your specialty? Do you have like a particular area of interest that you specialize in with your company?
So we do a lot of residentials. We do commercial as well, but we specialize in church renovations. So I know that's a different marketing niche.
Mhm,
One of the shareholders of the corporation happens to be a pastor. Basically, how that occurred is when he went into pastoralship, we ended up renovating his church, flipped it to like the renovation. It was basically an older church and we renovated it to a more modern look.
mhm,
From there, we just ended up beginning creating a whole nother market niche, shall I
mhm.
say,
Right.
for the business, and just began renovating other churches based on the pastors in which he know. And from there, it's everything is word of mouth. Even though we spend a lot of money in marketing a month, um, a lot of our stuff in regards to the commercial portion of renovations has to do with church renovations.
That's interesting. Good to know. Good to know. Because I'm sure there's a lot of churches in the Bay Area. I'm here in the Bay Area that need renovation, have building funds, are looking for spaces to build out churches. So that's really good to know. And so I wanted to ask you also about you said you teach courses in general contractors. So if someone like myself was interested in becoming a general contractor, where would I start? What would I do to pursue that career?
So basically, you would have to have a minimum of 4 years experience within the field in which you're going to be licensed in.
Okay.
That experience can be um, owner builder experience. It will also have to be experience on a journeyman level or a
Mhm,
foreman level, and you would have to be able to provide the information for that experience.
mhm,
Um, so that's a minimum of 4 years. I believe that you can also provide education in the construction field as a part of the experience.
okay.
However, I believe that only counts for about a year or two.
Mhm,
Um, oops, my apologies. Sorry about that. I
mhm.
believe it only counts as a year or two, but 4 years minimum experience of journeyman, foreman experience, or supervising employee experience where you're actually on the job site supervising whatever that particular trade is. You also will need to be able to perform the work without any supervision
Mhm,
per se. So
mhm,
it's a certain level of experience in which you have to have. Um, Fortunately, I was raised in a construction family.
mhm,
My dad was a project manager for the city of San Francisco. My mom, she was an executive assistant for a CEO of a construction firm. And when I was in the 6th grade, they ended up branching off and beginning their own construction management company.
awesome.
I'm not quite sure if you're aware of um, what is it called? They were the construction management company over the Berkeley Courthouse renovation. Also, I have it in my head as Project Yes, because that was the name of the project, but I think it's Youth Uprising next to Castlemont High School.
I'm
My
familiar.
parents were the construction management company over that project as well. So
Mhm,
I grew up in a construction household.
mhm.
Now they're retired. My dad, he's a city councilman now. So I've always kind of been in the whole construction um,
That world.
uh, world per se. And I didn't think I would end up going into it myself, but hey, here I am.
Right.
But yes, a minimum of 4 years.
Mhm,
So it's not something that you can just jump into and say, oh, hey, I want to become a licensed contractor. You have to have a minimum of 4 years at an at a experience level of a journey person or a foreman, where you're literally running the project sites. You can perform that work by yourself without supervision.
Like
So
physically perform the work.
physically perform the work.
Mhm.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, I work with developers and I love the process of building. Something just fascinates me about just the starting of the foundation and the framework. I get so excited. And I'm just like, I want to be everything. So I want to be a contractor. I want to pick up the hammer while I'm trying to sell it at the same time. But I'm glad you shared that because what about the field and the growth in the industry? Do you see like a shortage of employees when it comes to contractors, or are people really learning about how to become a contractor in the industry in California?
So, you know what? I'm going to speak on two aspects. As being an instructor, I have had a massive amount of students in my classes every week. The past class that I just had last week, it was about 40 plus students going after their contractor's license. In regards to the race, the increase, it's a lot of Hispanic contractors that are going after their license. When it comes to employees, things of that nature, and hiring, one thing that I noticed is with COVID, a lot of individuals have not been working because of the unemployment that is being provided.
Right.
So there is a shortage in that aspect where people are not working, because right now the government is paying pretty well for individuals not to work. You know, a lot of the contractors, things of that nature, especially if they're 1099, they're able to apply for the PPP loans, and which are forgivable, things of that nature. So a lot of people are not working. However, there are a lot of individuals that are, and it happens to be, there's an increase in regards to, like I stated, the Hispanic population it's growing. I try to look for, as a woman-owned business, as well as an African-American contractor, I try to look to hire my own. But unfortunately, there's a shortage in regards to hiring my own. A lot of my the individuals in which I hire or just sub the work out to, because as a general contractor, I am able to sub out a lot of the work. I'm subbing out a lot of the work to Hispanic contractors, you know? So that's where I would say the shortage is.
Right. You know, I've seen some programs that are working to basically do some outreach into various African-American communities and teaching them about getting their contractor's license or getting into construction. And I think it's a very lucrative industry. And
extremely lucrative.
Yeah. And so I think the education about what it takes, that's why I wanted to find out from you, you know, what you're seeing in the classrooms, just as an alternative to a four-year university. Like, it's still an industry that is in need, that's not going anywhere, that pays well, and just the need to get an education. So the name of the program, I'm not thinking of it right now, but I know I was at a Juneteenth festival 2 years back, and there was a group of gentlemen at the Juneteenth festival that had a program where they were reaching out into the community to get people into construction. So if I can think of that company, then I'll include it in the comments for our YouTube video. But for people that are interested in taking classes with you, where do you teach? Where could they find you?
So I teach for the California State License School. That's CSLS. You could basically Google that on Google, and the school will come up. When they Google it, of course, and through the whole enrollment, it's not a guarantee that they will get my class because, of course, it's so many different instructors. But we have, I believe, 67 different schools throughout the state of California. So it's one of the largest schools, construction schools that you would go through. There's other classes as well for blueprinting, learning how to read blueprints. Regardless of whatever trade you're looking to go for, all of the trades you can go through this actual school. In regards to the program, I'm not sure regarding the amount in which it costs, but I believe it's starting at about $1,500, and you basically get about 4 classes that are 2.5 hours long, normally once a week. The classes covers basically the law and business portion of the construction industry, in which you would need to know for the actual exam. Once those classes are completed, you'll go forth and we do assist with applying, with the application process of applying for the actual license. From there, once you get your test date, we then will enroll you into an actual crash course, which deals with all of the 4 classes in which we covered previously, as well as we provide you with trade information in which you're able to study. So you have a home study guide. We provide you with practice exams that you're able to take online. You have a full portal in which you're able to access this information as well. And I believe it's available for 90 days after completing the actual course. The thing about it is the classes do not focus more so on the trade in which you're going for. It focuses on the law and business portion because you are expected to have a certain amount of experience. You just don't come in as a journeyman or a foreman. That's something that you have to work up to. So the school is already expecting you to have a certain level of experience in your trade. So you're just provided with trade study material, but the actual classes in which you attend is focused on law and business of what is expected of you as an actual contractor.
Interesting. Yes, definitely.
And one I want to share too, that I share with a lot of my students that people don't know, a way of getting into the construction industry without having to go through all of this. And there's always loopholes. There's loopholes in everything that we have. The company in which I work for was actually quite smart. When I came in the company, part of me becoming CEO was applying to get the contractor's license. So there were other licenses, but I ended up being the individual who went and got the general contractor's license for the company. That was part of my package. The CEO was looking to retire. So basically the company invested in me to go to school. I actually was a student at the exact school that I'm teaching at now. I went to school, I passed the exam. Once I passed the exam, within a year, I stepped into position of CEO. Every shareholder is listed on the license with the CSLB. After 5 years of being listed on the license with the Secretary of State and the CSLB, each individual that's listed can then go and apply for a contractor's license without taking the exam. You automatically qualify for the 4 years experience to just waive the exam and apply directly for a contractor's license just because you're listed on that license. I am sharing that information because if somebody knows a contractor, we have families that have construction businesses. I tell a lot of my students that if you have children, things of that nature, bring your children, make your children involved in your construction company. Make your children shareholders, add them in as a either if it's an LLC, a managing member, add them in as an actual director, officer, things of that nature. If it's a corporation, list them. I steer from sole proprietorships. Some people tend to like it that way. I'm more of a corporation girl. I encourage everyone to start a corporation just because of the benefits, just because it's a separate entity. Even as an LLC, you still can be sued personally.
Right.
You know, with the corporation, it's a separate entity, and as long as you have not placed yourself as a personal guarantee on any of the business, meaning you have to get bonds and things of that nature for the company. If you're not signing as a personal guarantee, when you sign as a personal guarantee on any construction, on anything with the business, in regards to loans, bonding, things of that nature, you're basically stating that I take personal responsibility of any, what is it called, of any debt of the company, things of that nature. But there's other business loans and things of that nature where you don't have to sign as a personal guarantee. If you were to be sued, I use Trump as a prime example. Regardless of how we may feel about him, he's a smart businessman. He incorporates everything. And when the business flops, what does he do? He bankrupts it and starts another one. I'm big on This Is America. Unfortunately, we can't change the laws. So what do? We step up and we take advantage of what they put in place. This is how they made America. America was made to where corporations win in America. That's just the truth about it all. Incorporate yourself, even if it's a small business, you know. There's so many benefits in that, but yes, that's just the loophole of it all that I was sharing. If individuals are looking to make it easier in regards to accessing the license, that is a way, being placed on an actual contractor's company. And after 5 years, you're able to just apply as I believe it's called a exam waiver, to where you're able to just waive the exam. You don't have to take the exam, and then you actually have the same license that you were listed under for the business in which you were added to.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that information.
I'm like, cheat.
No, that I'm glad you shared that, because like you said, there always are loopholes. It's kind of similar to private money lending. It's like if I put my name on on an LLC with somebody that has 10 years of experience flipping homes, then I actually do a deal with them, and then I've gained their experience to go and get my own funding. So yeah, you gotta learn the game.
Right. And we have to learn how to share it. Exactly. And not try to keep it to ourselves.
Exactly.
You know, it's enough for everybody to win.
It definitely is. And that's why I have the Fabric of Real Estate conversations, to get information out there, and to, have conversations about everything real estate related, because there's so many different aspects of real estate out there. And there's so many ways people can take advantage of the industry. So I just want to thank you for taking the time out to join me on my YouTube channel, The Fabric of Real Estate, and share this information. I am so excited when I saw you online, and I just really wanted to connect with you and learn about you so I could support you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so, can you tell everyone how they can reach you? So you have a website for your construction or business credit? Where can they find you?
Yes. So in regards to my construction business, I can be reached at www.northstarcorporation.org. Definitely can contact my office at 888-959-9460. My direct business cell is area code 209-894-6073. And then, of course, my email, D as in dog Smith at northstarserv, SERV, no E.com.
Thank you, Dasheil. Well, I like to thank you again, and to all my sharp needles out there looking to thread the fabric of real estate, please reach out to Dasheil if you have some needs that fit her profile, and let's all work together to share information to make our portfolios, our financial well-being, our goal for financial wealth and generational wealth even stronger as a community. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.